So Louise, thank you so much for joining us. Louise is Louise McMorris. She is the project leader for New Team, the charity, one of the charities that we're looking to support through the Micah Fund this year. Louise, welcome. So Louise, do you want to just tell us a bit about your organisation and the people that you support?
Yes, New Team is a Christian charity and we're alongside young people who hang out in the streets of Govan, Glasgow. We build relationships through doing youth work on the street, and before the pandemic we were also taking young people on short trips to deepen those relationships. And this year we're planning to refurbish a shop into a youth workspace designed by young people. But young people who hang out in the streets have many gifts and skills and they often don't recognize those. So we support them to more fully become who God made them to be, whether they're interested in embarking on a journey of faith or not. Young people ask us questions about what we believe, and we prayerfully share our faith through relationship and everyday conversations.
That sounds brilliant work, Louise, thank you. And I think you briefly touched on it, but can you tell us a bit more about this specific project that you're asking the Micah Fund to contribute to this year?
Yeah, so Build and Do is a youth work project to transform a small shop space in the heart of Govan into a youth workspace and base. New Team started 5 years ago and we are purely a street-based project, and street youth work will always be at the core of our mission because it's important to meet young people where they're at in their own space. But young people we've met on the street over the years have asked for a youth workspace, and as we grow as an organisation, we also need a base.
Great. We're really excited to hopefully be able to support you, Louise, and that great work. So what difference will the Micah funding make to this project and the people you're working with?
So having a building will just increase the opportunities to do youth work. And it'll mean that young people know where to find us, because that's been an issue up to now, because we're only out at certain times. Also working with Christian designers, artists, youth workers, and hopefully tradespeople will give like positive role models and space for conversations where we can share our faith. Having a kitchen space will allow cooking and eating based activities, and that allows opportunities to sit around a table for a meal or learn healthy eating and cooking skills. But the best way to explain how it'll help is to talk about a young person we've worked with. I'll call them Caden. We met Caden on the street for the first time the summer between their P7 and S1 year. And I used to volunteer doing a little bit of schools work with a local church. And I had originally met Caden there. So very unusually, within a few times of meeting Caden on the street, they asked us for a Bible. Over the next few years, the relationship developed in fits and starts. Sometimes we'd see them, sometimes we wouldn't. And over time, they started sharing about their life and how things were going, problems at school, that kind of thing. Then we introduced the possibility of going on a trip, and Caden had really wanted to go to Starbucks because their sibling had been and they hadn't. So on that first trip to Starbucks, another youth worker and Caden had this conversation about their passion for food, and as a result they decided they wanted to go on the next trip to Nando's because they'd never been to Nando's either. Okay. And we went on from there to have coffee shop trips, McDonald's, go-karting, and on those trips conversations around music, family, school, life, relationships, beliefs. Occasionally Caden went to a local church services, which is very unusual for the young people we meet on the street, but through conversation we were able to invite Caden to a youth service, and we also were able to start working on the design of the building with Caden, who was able to tell us what they thought we should have in the building and had very definite ideas on decor. We suggested various things, including a graffiti wall, and at the youth service they spotted that there was mirror tiles on part of the ceiling, and so added that to the design plans. Around the same time, Caden asked us to talk about God more, and which we started working with, there's a local artist who's done paintings based on the Gospel of Luke, Ian Campbell's. Some people might have seen some of those paintings. And so we would take one painting and do like a simple Bible reading method around that. And the Cadence story is unusual, but it's unusual because each young person is unique and each story is unusual in its own way. It shows how we prayerfully move youth work relationships forwards and some of the opportunities that brings.
Thank you, Louise. I think that you've made it really clear what the need is and kind of how the funding and how everything was helped. So really appreciate that. Thank you for your time.
Thank you very much.